Hello folks, and welcome back to the channel. Together with these great partners, we are able to bring you quality information to help you reach your whitetail habitat goals quicker but more proficiently. Northwoods Whitetails, Plot Doctor Harper Growing Solutions, Scent Thief, Real Wood Productions, Ace Hardware of Harrodsburg, Kentucky. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I surely appreciate you stopping in. If you're a long-time subscriber and viewer of the channel, like I say guys, and I do truly mean that. I really appreciate everybody's support over the last several years. What we've got today, guys, we're creeping up. We're about a week out from our opener here in Kentucky, and what we've got is the fall blends were planted the first week of August, and so we got about that 4 weeks of growth, 4 or 5 inch brassicas, and our rye and our fall blends are looking great in the plots. We've had to do a little adjusting, so I'm going to kind of go over that with you here in the video. If you follow the channel at all, you'll know that last year during some testing going into this year, we had some rye that bin run rye that didn't work, and so it set us back. It let a bunch of invasives in, and which, I mean, that's why we kind of do the channel, right, to show that everybody's human, and everybody makes mistakes, and each growing season is different. So what that did set us back, and so we had to do a little cultivating in the food plots this year before we put our fall food plots in, which I'm a no-till guy, but the thatch wasn't good thatch. This whole process that we've been in, well, what we've got, guys, is I went out and I mowed the trails, deer trails and my access trails out through the switch yesterday. Took a good survey of the food plots, and what it is, I've got a lot of really good coming brassicas. The rye is there. The deer are out in them every night. They're I'm getting them on the feeder cameras. Everything's looking good, but a lot of grasses, and some of that's because of that cultivation that we had to do. So I want to do everything I can possibly do to have that good thatch layer going into the the spring of this year, or have that good rye going into the spring of this year, so we can have that thatch layer. So I'm trying to kind of roll the punches, right? We're trying to do everything that we possibly can to make that happen. So this year, obviously, we've got the certified rye in there. The rye's already coming up. I've got way more rye now than I had last year at all, right? But it's immature, and we're at that point that we had to make a decision. So what I've done is I decided I looked at spraying, and with the blend, especially our fall blend, spraying can be tough. And the reason for that is there's so many different things in there. So, I like clethodim for a grass killer, but the problem with it is I could spray clethodim, but it's going to kill my grasses, that foxtail and that Johnson grass that's taking over the plots. The problem with that is it's going to take the rye with it. It's going to take the rye, it's going to damage the sorghum. So, kind of put the pencils to the paper, made an executive decision, and what I did, like I've done in the past, I went in and I actually mowed the food plots. Now, yes, I'm driving over brassicas, but what I've done is I set that mower real high, that 8 to 10 inches, and I just clipped all of that nonsense off the top. Didn't hit the brassicas, didn't touch the rye, the wheat, the oats, everything that are in there. In our blend, we didn't touch any of it. We just clipped the top of it, all the trash off. Did a couple tests with it, and it just really opened up the brassicas and the rye. So that's what we've elected to do. Got some good rain last night right following it, and so now we're at the step of why did we do that? So my theory was this: instead of mowing, I lost a little bit of my sorghum. We didn't have a great stand of sorghum on some of it because we're still rebounding, right? So when I mowed, I did lose some of my sorghum, but unlike a lot of parts of the country, here in Kentucky and South, we can actually double crop that stuff. So what I elected to do, like I said, guys, is mow, because my sorghum will double crop. It will actually respond, and I didn't kill it, right? I just killed the trash, the grasses, the foxtail, the Johnson grass. I cut the sorghum, but it'll come back up. Now it's going to be short. Maybe it'll make a seed head, maybe it won't, but it's still going to have that big, that big leaf that they will eat sometime at some point during the year later in the winter. That's not something they're going to eat now. So that gets us to this point. What we're doing is we're going to run a application of liquid fertilizer, Plot Doctor, on it, and the reason for that is I'm giving that brassica and the rye now every chance that it's got. I'm giving it all the nutrients that it needs to explode and outperform them grasses that we set back. So remember, the mowing is a tool. I don't recommend mowing in most years. So I've got 2 of the 5 food plots that I didn't mow because they look great. Those are the food plots that had the perfect rye in it for the last couple of years. That is in our summer blend, that certified rye. Those plots are great. The plots that I got dealt with bad rye are still trashy, so I'm still doing the cleanup, the recovery, right? So remember that, use that tool, mowing, as a tool. Sometimes it's spraying that you need, sometimes it's mowing. Your shot plot, your clover plot, stuff like that is, sometimes it needs sprayed, sometimes it needs mowed. So it gets us to today, guys, a foliar application of this Plot Doctor. So what we're doing is that's going to hit the leaf first, and then it's going to eventually, we've got rain coming actually tomorrow, chance of it late this afternoon, but probably not going to get that one. And then we're going to get that rain tomorrow. So it's got that 24-hour time period to kind of hit the leaf, dry on the leaf a little bit. The leaf sucks it in, feeds the product. Then when you do get a rain, it's going to go down, get in that root base, and feed it from below. So you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone, if you will, right? So what we're using, guys, is Plot Doctor's foliar application. That foliar application, what I'm going to run, and everyone could be different, but that's why I highly recommend using Plot Doctor, getting a hold of Brad Harper at Harper Growing Solutions. That's why we're in partnership with them, is just this, guys. The other white jug out there isn't going to tell you per your farm what you need. It's just a one hat fits all approach with that other company. They're not like that. So he has all my information. He has all my food plot specs. I gave him pictures. He knows what it looks like. He knows the coloration. So what he's recommended is about 38 ounces per acre of foliar. So there is the product dry that they have, and I just don't have any of that left that we could have used with it. So I dropped my foliar down a little bit, and then the dry mixed in. It's actually dry matter, but you mix it in with the tank and you spray it the same, it dissolves. But we're going to go with just a foliar application. So the reason we're doing this, like I said, guys, again, is to feed the plants and now to give them all of the boost. So we're not amending the soils. We're not doing the lime application. We're not doing any of that. I'm a firm believer in trying to get that soil amendment created and established in the spring. Do your applications in the spring, lime, fertilizer, whatever you need per your soil samples. Get that accomplished. Then look into the fall. Then all you're doing is you're just feeding the plants after growth. And the reason for that is, guys, I think a lot of folks, it's kind of a buzzword, right? Everybody's been taught over the years to lime and fertilizer in the spring when you plant, before you plant, lime and fertilize again in the fall before you plant, right? Here's the deal with that, guys. Excuse me. Here's the deal with that. It takes so long, especially if you're using a granule application. It takes so long for that granule fertilizer, lime, urea, whatever that is that you're using, to break down. You're not getting that when you think you're getting it, right? So you're not getting in the spring when you need it. You're not getting it in the fall when you need it. So what this is, guys, is I'm getting all of that soil amendment, my calcium, my lime, all of that stuff that I did in the spring was, soaked up in my thatch like we talked about before. Some of it made it to the plants, yada, yada, yada. Now, though, it's all in the ground. It's been incorporated in the ground. The rain has incorporated in the ground. The plants have pulled it in. The clovers have boosted the soil, pulled that nitrogen, all that stuff is in there. Now all that product that I put out in the spring is working for me, and I can already tell, guys, when I planted the fall plots, it's a total change from where they were now versus when they were in the spring, right? Because everything is viable, right? Everything is reachable for that plant. So remember that. Just because you're doing it now doesn't mean that you're doing that application, especially if you're a granule applicator, right? You're not so much doing it for now. It helps, but it's the long-term stretch. My goal in our seed blends that we're promoting through Northwoods Whitetails, my system, that system is to help folks not have to do the fertilization or the lime near as much, because that green manure, this whole give back to the soil process that we're doing through these blends, cuts down on that quite a bit. And if you bought any of that recently, you know that it's expensive. So the liquid back saver, right? The liquid applications, huge back saver. I've got a horrible back, been through a back surgery, and I'm not the guy to throw thousands of pounds of lime and fertilizer around anymore when I can do it like this. So some springs we're going to need to do some application, some springs we're not. That's how the importance of working with someone like Plot Dr. Harper Growing Solutions there out of Michigan is so important, because they're working with you. They're not just giving it this. Everybody across the entire country needs to do the same thing. See, guys, to me is the other white jug, if you will, when I started researching that. So there's a couple things here we're going to talk about. The other white jug is a one-hat-fits-all. It's much like a lot of seed blends around the country, seed companies, food plot seed companies around the country, is you plant it this way, everybody needs to plant it this way, and everybody needs to plant the same thing. Well, that just doesn't work, right? And that's why we're doing what we're doing with these seed blends, trying to take all of the guesswork out of this, so I can have my clients and followers and viewers can all have a good shot at a successful food plotting experience, and not have to have a green thumb, right? I don't have a green thumb, guys. I really don't. I have to really focus on planting right, fertilizing right, my solution. I have to give it everything all the help it can get, because some people can, throw seed out and on gravel and it grows a beautiful food plot, right? And I'm not that guy. So that goes with region and myself, right? So, and luck, right? But so yes, the fertilizer application, liquid fertilizer application, liquid amendments in general, whether it's calcium, lime, fertilizer, whatever that is, highly recommend the Plot Doctor products, guys. That's why we're using them. That's why we're with these guys. Is it's not only a great product. Brad and it's not just me that he treats that way, guys. He's treats all my clients that way that are working with him. They call, you give them the soil samples, he breaks it down, tells you exactly what you need. Yep, it's a lot more work for Brad, but they're willing to do it, and that's why we're with Plot Doctor. So we're going to go out. We're spraying at about this sprayer is calibrated at about 13 gallons per acre of water. So as long as those 38 ounces of product goes on that field, it doesn't matter how much water you put on there. It's just going to take you more time, right? So we have it calibrated. So what I do is I fill this up 40 gallons and I spray just over 2 acres, and then I come back and we do it again. So remember, guys, calibration, use the right product, know what you're using it for when you're using it. Foliar right now to feed, and we're boosting the plots, if you will, going into the fall, because all of your soil amendment stuff should be done, right? So we're going to go out, we're going to get this put on, and then the food plots, the trails are cut, everything is ready for September 2nd opener here in Kentucky, guys. Hard to believe we're going into fall. So if you're watching this and you are one of those states that has that early season hunt, remember, take that marathon approach, right? It's not a sprint. Don't go in there and blow it all out. But what I highly recommend doing first, guys, is this. September 1st. We're a week before here, but September 1st, the end of August, September 1st here, really go into your food plots and be honest with yourself. Are they going to make it? are they broke? And if they're broke, don't settle with a broken food plot. Like I said, guys, douse it with rye so you can be involved in this system next year. You're gonna have a great food plot this year, a great attractant in the rye, but it's going to be there next year to help you, right? So that's our process that we're doing, and that's the reason that we're using the Plot Doctor products, guys.